So, when do the Blue Jays start their season?
I believe it's April 5th.
So, only a few more days before we can actually cheer for a half decent team. So, can we start watching Jays games?
That's not even a Jays jersey. That's a Patriots jersey, and that's Tom Brady.
It's close enough. Leafs lose to the Philadelphia Flyers 7-1 at home, and they have yet to win a home game since February 6th. And they haven't won under Randy Carlyle at home since he started being the head coach of the Maple Leafs. Now, this team isn't just tanking. I'm pretty sure they're hopeless. They can't do anything. They let UC Runis hang to dry tonight, and man, I just can't wait for the rest of the season just to end because it is pathetic when you hear fans chanting, "Let's go Blue Jays" at a Leaf game. This is the longest losing streak at home for the Leafs ever. So you can scratch any time that they've lost a ridiculous amount of games because this year, 2012, the year that, hey, it looked like we were going to make the playoffs, we have the biggest, probably the worst upset probably in our history because we were in sixth place in February and we are in 14th in the Eastern Conference because I don't think I've ever seen a team drop that much in 2 months. The 7 goals that were scored by the Flyers. So Shen got two, Simmons got two, Reed got a short-handed goal, Eric Wellwood got one, and Voracek. Now the Leafs only got one, and that was Mikhail Grabowski, who got his 200th career point tonight. So, hey, at least there's something to cheer about. And with Grabos with us for the next 5 years after signing the extension last month, you know what? Right now, him, Brown, and that's about it. I don't see that much heart out of anybody at the moment. This team has just plummeted, and it just seems like everybody just wants this season to end, including the players, because it's bad. And when you hear the fans, like I said, chanting, "Let's go Blue Jays," you know it's bad because the fans are sick and tired of hearing, like, seeing every game them getting absolutely destroyed by teams. And at this point, I'm pretty sure Burke just is, man, he is probably just at the point where he knows that he needs to make something happen during this off season or he is gone because at this point, I hope he doesn't go, but at this point, it is looking grim because 7 years now without playoffs, and he said that we'd get at least into the playoffs this year. And at the start of the year, it looked like we were going to make it into the playoffs. Halfway through, it looked like we were going to make it into playoffs, but man, I swear, November and February, they just like switch up every single year, and we get hot 1 month, and then we just absolutely suck the next because I swear, 2 years ago it was November, and then blah, and it's bad. Another thing, you can't win games when you only get 17 shots on net. They got 5 in the first, 6 in the second, and 6 in the third. That's not enough because the Flyers got 30. So they got 10 shots every single period, and the Leafs only got 17. You can't win a game with 17 shots on net, especially when Kessel only gets one the entire game, since he didn't get a shot on goal in over 6 periods of play. Now, Kessel being your number one on your team, you'd expect him to get like 5 shots like on net probably every game. But since Lupul's been injured, he's just gone downhill. Lupul has made him a better player, and with Lupul being injured, it has just made one thing go to another thing, and it is just getting worse and worse and worse. And with Kessel only having 2 years left on his contract, I don't see him re-signing with the Leafs unless something happens because at this point, he looks like he's just miserable here. Like, it's I don't see him signing. And the idea with trading Sagan for that draft pick that was eventually Sagan is going to bite us because Kessel is probably going to go to another team, where Sagan's going to become good and play for Boston for the next couple of years or the years to come. Now, I'm not saying that the Kessel deal was a bad trade. I liked it because it's Phil Kessel. He can score, and when Lupul plays with him, they played amazing because Lupul even got 67 points in 66 games, which was his all-time record, which is great. But since the shoulder injury, it kind of sucks. Like everything you thought that this year was going to be great because everybody seemed to be doing a great job, and it just kind of went downhill. And the Lupul injury was just kind of like that last little cinder block that loosened up and fell, and the entire construction of what we had just completely collapsed. And finally, as a Leaf fan, are you at the point where you're contemplating on switching teams, or are you always going to be that diehard fan? Because me, I'm a diehard. I will never switch teams, but I know because the way that the Leafs have been playing this decade that they're losing fans. And at this point, especially this year, I can see a lot of fans disappearing and hopping onto other teams. And what do you think? Do you or will you change teams, or will you stick with this team? Because at this point, I feel like good fair few amount of fans will leave. So that's it for me. I am finito. If you want to follow me on Twitter, like my Facebook page, ask me questions on Tumblr, or follow me on Tumblr. Everything is in the underbar below. If you want to like this video, go right ahead and like it. And if you want to subscribe, go ahead and subscribe. Tell your friends, share it with your family. Let's go Blue Jays.